demonstrating my sinus trigger. I am going to be doing a lateral of the paranasal sinuses, a axial, which is our Caldwell method of the frontal and anterior ethmoid sinuses, the periacanthal projection, which is our waters of the maxillary sinuses, and the SMV projection of the ethmoid and sphenoid sinuses. I already have my console ready for the wall bookie. My tube is already detented at 40 inches to the wall bookie as well. My shield is ready, and I also have my 10 by 12 IR in the bookie as well. I've already cleaned the grid since the patient will be fairly close to the grid, and now I'm ready to go get my patient. Daisy.
Daisy Palmer,
And your date of birth, please.
October 18th.
Now, why are we getting images today?
I've been feeling congested for a while now.
Any pain?
No pain.
How long have you?
About 2 weeks?
And before we start the images, is there any chance that we may look at them?
No.
And I am gonna have you remove your earrings and any clips that you may have in your hair. Your necklace too, just in case. And we can start our images.
Okay.
I mean, it's just looks a credit, I guess. Let me read my paper first. Let me get to the IR.
¿Sabes hacer? ¿Está? Oh, she's done. Yeah.
Okay, Daisy, come right this way. And I'm gonna put this lead on you to protect you from the radiation. It is a bit heavy, I apologize. But I'll try to be as quick as possible. And just let me know if you have any pain or anything. So I'm gonna start off with my lateral projection of the primary soul sinuses. Daisy, come right this way. I'm gonna check my light. So for the lateral projection, we want our central rate to enter 1.5 to 1 inch posterior to the outer canthus. Daisy, I'm gonna have you turn this way, please. Just get a little closer. Just like that. So for this projection, we want to make sure that the mid-sagittal plane is parallel with the IR, and that the interpupillary line is perpendicular to the IR, and so is the IOL perpendicular to the front edge of the IR. And again, like I said, we want our central ray to enter 1.5 to 1 inch posterior to the outer canthus. So I'm going to reset that just a tad bit more. And since we are doing a right lateral for the purpose of the trigger, I'm going to put my right marker on there. Central ray is coming in perpendicular, and I'm going to have my patient stop breathing, take my exposure, breathe in, relax, Daisy. For this projection, I would do approximately 75 out of 10, and then I would move on to my PA axial Caldwell method. I will change my IR, bring in a new one, and I'm going to change it to a portrait. And I'm going to change my marker to left. My central is still coming in perpendicular, and for this projection, the patient is going to be resting the tip of their nose to the grid, because we want our OML to form 15 degrees with the central ray, and we want our mid-sagittal plane to be perpendicular with the IR. So like I said, the central ray is going to enter perpendicular, and it should enter horizontal and exit at the nasia. Could you use one hand forward just a little bit like that? Okay, so like that, she should be fine. I will have patient stop breathing, take my exposure, breathe and relax easy. For this projection, I would do approximately 80 at 20, and then I would move on to my parietal canthio projection, which is our Waters method. I would change my IR, put in a new one, and I would also put it portrait. For this projection, we want the patient's chin to be resting on the grid. Since our central ray is still going to be perpendicular to the IR, we want the OML to form approximately 37 degrees with the IR. Our mid-sagittal plane should be perpendicular to the IR, and so should the MML be perpendicular with the IR. Our central ray, like I said, is going to enter perpendicular to the IR, and it's going to enter horizontal and exit the canthio. Baby, I'm going to have you rest your chin just like that. Okay, should be good right there. Her OML is approximately 37 degrees with the central ray. Her MML is perpendicular to the IR, and so should the mid-sagittal plane. Central ray should be exiting approximately at the canthio. I'm gonna collimate in a little. But since every patient's anatomy is different, I am not gonna do exactly at the medium, since I would cut a bit of the frontal sinuses. So I would have my patient stop breathing, take my exposure, breathe and relax easy. For this projection, I would do approximately 85 at 20, and then I would move on to my SMB projection for our ethmoid and sphenoid sinuses. I would change my IR, put in a new one, portrait again. It will be changing my marker to the right marker, since it's going to be the right patient's right side. For this projection, we want the IOML to be perpendicular to the IR, and we want the central ray to still enter perpendicular to the IR as well. And it should enter horizontal approximately 3/4 anterior to the EAN. And I'm going to have my patient turn around a little bit. Are you feeling okay?
Yeah, okay.
So I'm going to have you hyperextend just like that, and then you can rest on the grid. Like I said, the central ray should be entering approximately 3/4 above the EAN, anterior to the EAN. And I'm going to come just a tad bit. I'm going to bring my grid down, just like that. Okay, go ahead and rest again. So I'm going to have my patient stop breathing, take my exposure, breathe and relax, Daisy. For this projection, I would do approximately 85 at 20, and that is it for my sinus trigger.
Now let's move on to evaluating our images. This is the lateral projection of the paranasal sinuses. We want to obviously see proper collimation. We want to see all 4 sinus groups. Here's our frontal sinus, our ethmoid sinus, our sphenoidal sinuses, and our maxillary sinuses. We also want to make sure that there's no rotation or tilt of sinus anatomy, and this can be seen by the sella turcica in profile, which is here. It can barely be seen. Want to see superimposed orbital roofs, which can be seen here. These are the orbitals. And we also want to see the superimposed mandibular rami, which is here. You can see that they are almost superimposed. And then we move on to our next image, which is our PA axial projection, which is our Caldwell method. For this one, obviously, again, want to see proper collimation with closed beam restriction to the sinus area. We want to see the frontal sinuses laying above the frontal nasal suture, and the anterior ethmoid air cells lying above the petrous ridges. So here are our frontal sinuses. Our petrous ridges are here. And we also want to see, here you can also see the ethmoid sinuses. The sphenoid sinuses can be seen, but they're superimposed. We also want to see no rotation or tilt, and this can be demonstrated by equal distance between the lateral borders of the skull, which is there. We also want to see the petrous ridges symmetric on both sides. You can see that they are here. And also the mid-sagittal plane of the head is aligned along the axis of the collimated field. So you can see that there. And you also can see that there's equal distance from the lateral borders of the orbits, which is here. So you can see that there's no rotation there and there's no rotation there. And then we would move on to our next image, which is our parietal acanthial projection, which is our Waters method. For this projection, again, proper collimation. We want to be able to see the maxillary sinuses, which are here. We also want to see that we want to know that the OML is properly positioned, and this can be demonstrated because the petrous ridges are lying inferior to the floor of the maxillary sinuses, which are here. And we also want to see no rotation or tilt, and this is demonstrated by equal distance between the lateral borders of the skull and the lateral borders of the orbits. So here's the lateral border of the orbits and the skull. We also want to see the orbits and maxillary sinus symmetric on each side. So you can see that here, and they are symmetric. And the mid-sagittal plane of the head is aligned with the long axis of the collimated field, which is there. And then finally we would move on to our SMV, which is the submental vertical projection. Again, we want to see proper collimation. We want to be able to see the sphenoid and ethmoidal sinuses. So here are the ethmoidal, and then our sphenoid sinuses. We want to again see no tilt, and this can be demonstrated by equal distance from the lateral border of the skull. So from the lateral border of the skull to the mandibular condyles. You can see that there is a bit rotation. This is not equally distanced as that. And we also want to see that the IOML is positioned parallel to the IR. And this can be demonstrated by superimposition of the anterior frontal bone by the ventral protuberance. So you can see that this is superimposed. We can also see the mandibular condyles anterior to the petrous ridges. So here are the petrous ridges, and the mandibular condyles are here. And that is it for our image evaluation.